well-rounded, and getting information. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, at some time and point, you're gonna need to have this information. And also too, it creates a good dialogue with people that you come in contact with, worldly people. You know what I mean? When you go out of the United States or different places, you want to be able to hold a conversation about various things. You know, I mean, they may not really care about, you know, the rappers or singers over here or your sports people, because they're not really exposed to them like that. But there may be other things that may spark you know, a conversation that doesn't have anything to do with just being in that box of entertainment and sports. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, I definitely agree that how the historical perspective and how it's taught from a European perspective for the most part
Right.
definitely needs to be upgraded, because it creates your self-image of kind of who you are. I mean, it's an uphill climb if you go to the movies or if you watch on TV, the images that are portrayed.
Yes.
And those images, you know, perception becomes reality. I mean, you need to address, you know, ancient Rome, you know, Timbuktu.
Nice.
You really need to kind of drill, and even, you know, the traditional things, which, you know, every October I go crazy because I still hear about these Indians discovering America.
Right.
Still, to this
Right.
day, when Columbus made a mistake,
Right.
and he thought he was in India, but we're still calling them Indians,
Right.
when they should be Native Americans.
Yes.
And it's mind-numbing in 2010,
Right.
about to be 2011, that we still have to correct these inconsistencies. So
Right.
I agree 1,000%. If you know the ethnic makeup of your students, you need to create a curriculum that speaks to them, and not only is once a month.
Right.
For 28 days.
Right, right,
So,
right. Now, just me like gathering information and just doing my own research, I was looking at some of the historical things about the Moors, and from what I gathered, it was that before the slave, you know, trade and all that stuff came about, we were traveling, you know, by boat, you know what I mean, all over the world. You know what I'm saying? From the continent between Egypt and Africa and all those other continents, we were traveling, trading, and so forth and so on. So we weren't just always slaves. We were already traveling by ship, by boat, trading with other people. You know what I'm saying? So just like you have, I think the Moors had invaded Sicily. You know what I mean? That's how you get the Sicilians. They're kind of black
Darker
and
skin,
dark,
dark
right?
skin. Absolutely.
They're mixed with black and
Absolutely.
Italian. So
Right.
that's how you get the Sicilians. So we were traveling a lot, you know, throughout the world. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Before this whole slave thing. So as far as educating people in the history, I think, like I said, I think it should be expanded on, and I think it should be exposed, you know what I mean, a lot more to our young people, so that way we can start having a foundation and being connected to something, because I see a disconnect. You know what I mean? That our behavior as a whole, I understand why, and it's a disconnect. We're not really gravitating towards anything specific. We're trying to be like this. We're trying to wear our hair straight. We're trying to get all of this surgery done so that way we can have features like other people. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of being happy with who we are.
Right. So to me, that's a disconnect.
Absolutely.
You know, when you go through all this trouble to change your whole outlook and your whole image, and you want to be like another culture, there's a disconnect there.
Something definitely, there's something wrong
You know?
there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to kind of echo what you said, I mean, when I was in college, I will never forget this. I wrote a paper on how Africans from the Cape Verdean Islands knew the currents and navigated to the real world hundreds of years prior to Columbus. And I got a C on it. Not because of the historicity of it.
Right.
But because it just didn't agree with, my professor didn't particularly agree with
Right.
it. So, you know, again, I want to make this a little even broader than African Americans. I mean, if you have a specific, you know, Latinos, the curriculum should be focused. If you have real Indians from India in your, if you have whatever group is in your class, that's how the history should be laid out, because you're
Right.
building self-esteem, you're building an image, you're building, you know, from 0 to 8, kids' personalities are set. After 8, You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's other stuff you can do, but for the most part, that imprint is kind of there. So,
Right.
you know, we're on the same page, to say the
Okay.
least.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Now, is there anything that you would like to say to our viewers, as far as anyone that's interested in not just specifically the homeschooling or just education period, like as far as your perspective on what education is and what should people do in order to become educated?
Well, it's a belief issue. Parents should fundamentally believe that they have the skills and tools to educate. That's A. And once that realization takes root, then other things will come to you, as long as you kind of pursue it. Instead of, and this goes for myself, spending the time on the Facebook and other social media or whatever, or cable or whatever it is, spend 40 minutes on alternative ways to educate your child. And the amount of information out there is unbelievable. But for me, it started with the realization, wow, I can do this. I don't need to have a PhD in education from Harvard. And by the way, I don't know, a few months ago, Bill Gates mentioned that traditional universities, he believes, are going to be obsolete in the next 5 to 7 years.
Oh my
because
goodness.
of the advent of distance learning.
Right.
And he said the best lectures in the world, you can just go online and you can see that. Now, they had a rebuttal from guys from Harvard. Of course, they had a problem with that.
Right.
But, Bill and Melinda Gates, their foundation, spends billions of dollars researching education. I kind of have to listen to what Bill said. So the point is, I couldn't resist it. The point is, there are so many resources out there that we can tap into.
Yes.
However, the first step is the belief. I can do this. I can take over the reins of my child's education. I'm not held hostage by X, Y, and Z.
Okay,
So
great.
I would definitely say that.
Great. Well, this has been very, very exciting.
Thanks
You
for
know what
having me.
I mean, education excites me. You know what I mean? Like sitting down, having dialogue, because what I guess people really don't realize is this show basically is an extension of myself. Meaning, like, I have so many conversations with people on a daily basis that said, you know what, I want to do it in a forum where now I can create a dialogue, sit down, and actually have the world hear some of the interesting conversations and the interesting people that I come in contact on a daily basis. So this show is an extension of just my daily life, of me having a half an hour, an hour dialogue with someone about their views and their opinions on education or music, entertainment, or just relationships. I mean, there's so many broad spectrums. But once again, I'd like to thank you for actually coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And giving our audience a wonderful educational piece on your experience with homeschooling. And definitely me and my son are going to get up with you and your son and the whole crew and get the education.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
So once again, I'd like to thank everybody, all our viewers, for watching College Blok. All right. Peace.
History in the making. Let's go.